Hey everyone, it's Todd the Cybertruck truck guy, and today I'm going to be showing you an extended clip from my last live stream where I did a detailed breakdown of a recent Sandy Munro response to Battery Day. What makes this interesting is that this interview was conducted with somebody that is kind of a Tesla skeptic on the other side. And I think of all the classy beatdowns I've seen in the world of Tesla skeptics versus Tesla fans, this stands at the top. It's a long clip, and I use some language that is a little raw, and I thought about editing it out, but that's how I feel, and I wanted to show. It would mean a lot to me if you would consider subscribing, liking the video, putting a comment in there. I'd really appreciate it. So with that, let's get on to the video. So this is a very, unless you're a Sandy Munro fan, I'm not sure you would watch this whole thing. And what I tried to do is I tried to glean the nuggets out of this, because this guy who's the host, he takes up a lot of time, which it's like, I understand, but and then this guy, so this is why I did like this. I'm not sure how many of you guys have watched this so far, because it came out. I was trying to get a video out on this last night, and then I had a bunch of stuff like life stuff pop up, and I was just like, I guess it's not. I guess I'll just cover it in the stream. Okay, so this guy here, if you can, it's entertaining to watch. This is a guy who is an industry guy. He worked at CATL for some period of years. I don't know, 5 years, 8 years, something like that. He just left CATL like a year ago. He was their chief technology officer. And so his primary specialty is batteries, right? Now, I want you to keep this in mind, because remember, Sandy that's not his primary expertise. And in fact, in a few cases, he defers to this other guy. But this guy rarely defers to Sandy in the same way. He basically, you just got to watch it, because he's like, he's arrogant. He's just arrogant. And then he will, there's some, I hope I got it. I think I got all these sections in there, or at least the ones I found most entertaining. But he'll say something, and then Sandy will basically put the smackdown on him in a very, they're not being like, it's not like me when I go at someone, and I'm like screaming at them and they're screaming at me. It's all very collegial, but man, they are going at it. It is like boom, 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 different opinions. And it's so obvious. One of the things I want to point out to you, because I will try not to stop the video all the time and comment, I want you to notice how often this Bob Galyen guy talks in generalities, and how often in those same instances, Sandy talks specifics. I think this is very interesting. Okay, I think I got this set up so I don't really need to do a prelude or anything. So we're going to jump in. I think there's 5 segments here that I think do the best job of conveying this whole fascinating interchange, and giving who I think is, again, the person I most cared about hearing following Battery Day.
We've been in the past, we've said that the battery pack that we like the best is the Tesla pack.
Can you hear it?
I mean, it's been that way for quite some time. The only thing we didn't care for was the manufacturing technique, with having to use those extrusions with the micro channels and whatnot, and trying to cool from the sides, when in actuality, heat is axial. It goes up and down the middle. And so we were wondering why they didn't cool from the bottom. Or anyway, this thing basically makes it all happen. And by the way, we kind of are making a battery pack. We started it, but when we saw what happened last night, it was beyond our wildest expectations. So we're changing it around. And this is kind of just an illustration for those folks who
beyond our wildest expectations. Okay, I'm not going to do this all the time, but if you've watched Sandy Munro before, he's very laconic. He's not given to this. That is emotion. That's like an emotional outburst for Sandy Munro. For him to say beyond our wildest expectations, honestly, I've never heard him say anything like that before. He'll say things are interesting or high quality, or he'll give compliments, but beyond our wildest dreams, right there, shots fired over to the whole industry and to Mr. Bob Galyen in general. Now, notice, just those of you that are interested in body language, you'll notice frequently Bob Galyen's arms crossed. That is a classic sign of defensiveness.
Don't know what the size differential is. This one is a little bit shorter and a little bit bigger in diameter than what was shown last night, but this is out of the Y right here. So you can see there's a big difference. And when you start when you start packaging them, and we put that on the cooling plate, this is much better for sucking the energy, or the heat, I should say, out of the battery, which keeps the energy high, keeps the life expectancy for the battery high. Everything is better when it's bigger. I think that's the right way to go. So what do you think there, Bob?
Yeah. If Jack was around, I would have been waiting for him too. So yeah, RIP Jack. Sorry you weren't here. You would have loved this.
Well, certainly the bigger the active materials are that you can package, the better off you are, because you get better energy density that way. That's one of the reasons that my old alma mater, CATL, decided to go with a prismatic configuration.
Okay. Now, I just want to say, vested interest. He worked at CATL. He's saying, he's kind of dismissing, like, oh, obviously you would do this. And that's why we went with this prismatic cell structure. Nothing against CATL. I think they're doing some great work and they're going to be very needed. But anyway, all right, let's go.
Because mathematically, the prismatic cell, you can put more energy into the given volume than you can with the cylindrical cell. But the Tesla team decided to go with the cylindrical for multiple other reasons, and the way they,
which Sandy will explain momentarily,
designed and built their package. And when you look at the technologies that are out there today, Sandy knows from doing competitive analysis. He and I have done a lot of different kind of competitive analysis for years. That the different configurations, they all work. It's just the different philosophy that the design engineers have for utilizing available components and space that they have to package in.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to realize something. So this guy's job, after Tesla opened up a massive can of whoop ass on the world a couple nights ago, his job is to go around and tell everyone it's going to be okay. You can compete with Tesla, and I will help you do that. That's his job. That's why he's acting like, well, they're all kind of pros and cons, blah, blah, blah. Anyway.
Well, the big thing for me is this is cheaper than that.
Boom.
Okay, so this is kind of one of the things that you might look at. I mean, they come in different configurations and size, but these are all basically prismatic. And then for those who don't know, this is kind of like what they use as a laconic pouch style. So, live. Well, let's put that right back. Anyway, so I think that for me, the amount of energy I get out is great. But what I like even better is, how am I going to manufacture this? I can crank these out like there's no tomorrow. These come out by the thousands.
I can crank these out like there's no tomorrow. These come out by the thousands. There's a reason Tesla chose this, Mr. Bob, and it's because what matters is the combination of energy density, cost, and speed
per minute or something. Whereas this one is this a little tougher to manufacture. And so consequently a little slower. But I think when you put these things together, like I say, which we didn't have it done yet, but when we put it all together and whatnot, And based on what they're saying, they're going to take this and then basically epoxy it into the cooling plate and whatnot. I mean, I couldn't be happier. For years, I've been saying you can have reliability or serviceability, pick one. You can't have both. And this basically glued to the cooling plates and then gluing to its brothers and sisters. This is for me, the best. I was really, really excited when I got done. So I don't know. I think that at the end of the day, this is going to kick some serious. This is better than
Kick some serious edit ass.
than they've got right now. Like I said, I like the battery, but I didn't like the cooling system. I love this cooling system, and I love the diameter. I love the energy pack. So,
all right. Don't you love that? I just love the passive aggressive digs that are happening. That's what made this video so entertaining. All right, skipping up to minute 14:32.
drove home the point. Anybody can make a prototype. Manufacturing is hard. He said it like 3, 4, 5 times. That's the real key. I can make anything work once. I don't know how long it's going to work and whatnot, but I can point at it. And we've seen lots of people come in here with here's a piece of plastic and look, it's a battery, and they cut it up in little pieces with scissors. Okay, fine. How can you make 3 of them? No, that's our only one, and we cut it up for you. But actually, at the end of the day, that's not manufacturing. This is manufactured.
Okay, so here's what I want to say. A bunch of people have been saying that, even Bob Galyen, it's like, oh, it's 3 years away. It's not, it's just a prototype. I've heard this a bunch out, like watching other people comment on this. Sandy Munro is saying this is manufacturing. This is actually product that's coming off of an assembly line. Yes, it's a pilot line. Yes, it still needs tweaking. But he's saying there is a massive difference from having a prototype to actually having something that's coming off an assembly line. And Tesla has the new battery cell coming off an assembly line. It's a big freaking deal.
This is something that he's got prototypes working, and he's scaling up. He's got that little plant next to Fremont cranking out these things. I was blown away. I think that for me, maybe Wall Street didn't like it, but Wall Street's, I mean, really and truly, they've got a lot of people there that are analysts and things like that, and they look at stuff in an entirely different way. For me, last night, if I was a CEO of a big OEM, I'd be wetting my shorts right now, because this is a turning point. 50%.
Just watch. After I started watching this, what's kind of fun. Listen to Sandy talk and watch Bob Galyen's face. Sandy does the piss your pants thing, and Bob kind of is like, it's just fun.
Loss cost, 59% more energy and whatnot. This is ridiculous. And not only that, it weighs less. Now all of a sudden, I mean, I can see a $25,000 car that's worth basically driving with this thing. With this, it's too heavy. I mean, it's too heavy. This is perfect. This is like I said, this is the end of the ice age. I've said that a couple of times, but this battery is. I don't need to have the solid state battery anymore. I got this thing.
Okay. So this is one of the things. This is why I think Sandy is so essential, because people got emotionally attached to things like the 1,000,000-mile battery or the solid state battery. And what Sandy Munro is saying, in as clear and as explicit of a language as ever, is game over. This is game over. It's here. It's done.
I'll take that all day long. Like 50% weight loss, I'll take that all day long.
Yeah,
Okay. See here. Okay. This is a fun section because we're gonna see this is what I refer to as Sandy's eye roll moment. So let me make sure. Yeah, I think this is the section. Okay. This is a fun one.
But what's your sense? I mean, you were at CATL. Is Tesla really that much farther ahead than?
Okay, now he's asking this question. So now I want you to watch Sandy's face while you're listening to Bob respond.
Say where CATL is in terms of price reduction and the like. General Motors says it's going to get under $100 per kilowatt hour at the pack size in a couple of years. I just like to get your sense. Is Tesla really that much farther ahead than everyone else?
No. I have to be a little careful.
That's as vocal as actually. There's another place where Sandy gets really excited here that I'm going to show you in a few minutes. But his little shrug and kind of like I don't agree with him. I don't think he's right. I love it. I love that because it's Sandy Munro's way of saying he don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Oops, sorry. I'm trying not to swear when I'm doing this. Hope I don't offend anyone.
Well, John, part of my agreement with Robin when I left China was I wouldn't talk about CATL. But you can go and look at the literature. Approximately 2 months ago, they started the new 21C laboratory. It's interesting that 2 of the Nobel laureates sent letters to Robin and congratulated him on the starting of this new 21C lab. A guy that wants to protect his investors, don't go out and tell the world exactly what they're working on.
Okay, I just want to let you know, I'm letting this play because Sandy's getting ready to do another beatdown. So he's saying, you don't go blabbing around what you're working on. Okay, well, just hand him the rope for him to hang himself. Here we go.
The big car companies, the GMs, the BMWs, the Audis, the Fords, the Chryslers, the Fiats, they're not going to go out and broadcast what they're doing because their competition is going to know what they're doing. Tesla takes a different approach. They tell everybody everything. And a lot of the things that Elon mentioned are very forward-looking. If you look very closely, and I'm not trying to dampen Sandy's enthusiasm because I'm probably the biggest cheerleader in the industry.
He's not trying to dampen Sandy's enthusiasm. That is so condescending, so patronizing. Motherfucker. Oh, sorry. He has been, sorry guys. Can you tell? I swear a lot in regular life. He's been tearing down vehicles for 20 years. He's been on the inside of the car industry. Sandy isn't he ain't us. He ain't a Tesla fanboy. He was super, super critical of Tesla. Sandy is the way he is because Elon has earned his respect. And the way Bob Galyen is just dismissing it I'm not trying to dim Sandy's enthusiasm because he's some country rube that doesn't know what he's talking about. It's like, shut the F up. You know batteries. I'll give you that. But you don't know the whole manufacturing process like Sandy does, at least in such a way as to be so dismissive. I'll bet he hasn't been tearing Teslas apart anyway.
For electrification, but I'm also a realist in helping grow CATL to where they're at today. It took a heck of a lot of work and a lot of diligence.
I'm a realist, as in Sandy, you don't know what you're talking about. I know what I'm talking about.
The hours of labor and knowledge that was put into it. I just got through putting together a slide deck that shows the convergence of the cognitive skills and the knowledge base that is required for someone to take technology and turn it into CAD.
Dude, he's acting as if he has a presentation. Show me the car you've built. Show me the way you've revolutionized the auto industry. You have a mother effing PowerPoint. Sit down.
John, you've heard me say that a few times. Technology in the cache is the key. And this is what Elon and his team are trying to do. They're just more vocal about it than the other companies. So Is there a differentiator between technology that other companies are working on and Tesla? No, those guys are working
Here we
on
go.
similar types of technology. In fact,
Fasten your
since
seatbelts.
I've
Buckle up,
semi-retired from
boys.
CATL, I have
Sandy's
contracts
getting
with
ready to
other
open a can of
technology
whoop-ass.
companies that are working on things that are beyond what Elon and his team are talking about. So they live in their own development world, and that's fine. Just like any other large corporation, whether it's Magna Corporation that makes components, or whether it's a car company like GM that makes the automobile, all these people are aspiring to make money. And the way you make money is to take technology and turn it into cash.
Well, I'll tell you, the thing that I look at is basically sitting in back of me right here. Did Tesla tell anybody that they were going to go to a casting that size? Nope. I don't think many people saw it until I ripped apart the Model 1.
Just a reminder, remember I said he spoke in generalities and Sandy speaks in specifics?
And now this is obsolete. This is obsolete. This is only half of the size. The real size is double. And I said that I have no idea why they're not doing the front of the car as well. You probably can't see it because it's off the screen, but now they showed last night that not only they're going to do the rear, they're doing the front, and their battery pack is basically using the same kind of technique and technology. They didn't say anything about that. I think what Tesla does is, yeah, they warn their competition about what they're working on right now or what they think they've got in hand, but I have no clue what they've got sitting in reserve. I think that Tesla likes to tease. I mean, sitting in front of me is the octo valve. Who's got that? Lots of people had what do you call them? Heat pumps, but these guys, they went and made that. Okay, thanks. Anyway, this is the octo valve, but they took what everybody else had and turned it into magic overnight. I mean, I can't begin to tell. I have no idea what kind of a budget they got for R&D, for vertical integration and making things better. But I don't know. I know for sure we didn't have anything like that at Ford when I was working there. Never. We did lots of R&D, but nothing compared to this. I mean, battery technology, heating and cooling technology, aluminum castings they've got their own blend of aluminum in. I mean, on and on and on. Even we're not there yet, but when we talk about the ADAS board, see that chip in the center? We don't know how to make that thing. We can take every chip and take it to pieces, but that thing's scary. When you look at it from the other side, I mean, look at the number of joints. It's like impossible. This is impossible. How does it do that? So this thing is costing us a fortune trying to reverse engineer that chip.
I just love how Sandy is saying, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. I've been trying to keep up with Tesla, and I go through and I do an evaluation, and a month later, I'm getting a new part, and there's more changes in that part in a month or two than we used to have in Ford from a model year transition. It's just, he's blown away. He's like, we can do normal chips inside and out. Regular manufacturers, no problem. We're blowing our budget trying to figure out how Tesla's chip works. And yeah, whatever.
It's gigantic and it's revolutionary. What do you call it? Not what's the name of the other chip manufacturer? NVIDIA. And this is a better chip than NVIDIA. NVIDIA's been doing this forever. That's their job. And yet Tesla comes up and says, oh, well, thanks. We're not going to buy your chip anymore. We're going to make our own. So that's kind of, I just think they're not a car company. They're like Edison's lab or something.
They're not a car company. They're like Edison's lab. I got to tell you guys, this was the most uncharacteristically, seeing Sandy Munro really just sort of convey in this whole conversation, it's like his mind was already blown before Battery Day came. And now he's sitting there going, I've never seen any, I've been doing this for 40 years. I've been professionally consulting for whatever, 20 years, tearing apart, reverse engineering vehicles, helping NASA, building airplanes. And this is a guy that has done some mind-blowing projects and been involved in stuff. And he is so blown away by not just the pace of innovation, but the quality of the innovation. This is why I'm not worried. Put me at the front of the Cybertruck list, boys and girls. I know there's a few gals out there. Put me at the front. I'll take Cybertruck number 1. I'm not worried. I'm not worried because Sandy's not worried, honestly.
Totally different for me.
All right, let's go to the next one. This one is a short one. I do kind of should set this up. This is this was around, they started this conversation around using batteries in airplanes, of which so I'll just mention it. It's 1:55, so it's around that. If you're interested in the whole airplane discussion, of which he says he thinks it's going to be doable. But he talks specifically about some things that I just wanted to show here in this. It's just like a minute long.
We're looking at two things happening. One, the cost has gone down significantly. When we did the analysis on the Model 3, the price was 150. What was the price? 150
Hey,
something, 56, 156
I know you're out
bucks
there.
per
Sorry.
kilowatt hour. Now it's 108. When Elon said that he had already matched it, I can tell you for sure that's the truth, because we did the costing on it, and we do very accurate costing. So they were at 108 when we did the Model Y. If we go to this thing, we go to the bigger,
So 108. So I think this is one of the reasons why Tesla doesn't unveil or didn't unveil actual dollar amounts in there. They just gave everything in a percentage, and I think there's two reasons for that. The first thing is they're really going to have, we know for sure, at least 3 chemistries, right? They're going to have the iron phosphate. They're going to have the whatever the other one, lithium, manganese, and then the nickel, high nickel content ones. So they're going to have 3 tiers. The point is that for each of those tiers, the cost numbers are different, but the percentages will be the same. Those percentages will be the same. They'll be able to squeeze each of those different chemistries in the same way. They'll be able to increase the range, and they'll be able to lower the cost per kilowatt hour. But in this one, 106. So supposedly the magic number is 100. So they're talking about having that. Holy shit. I mean, yeah, game over.
what, 4680. I think that we're going to see even a lower price, because I have to wind, I don't know, I'd have to at least do 6 of these things in order to get the density of this one. And and now this thing goes into a jelly roll, done, and out the door. These are much faster to build than the prismatic or the pouch.
So again, second time he said much faster. I never really know how to quantify this, but he understands internally sort of what goes on assembly lines. And this is why I find it, GM is using the prismatic. Well, they're partnering with CATL, not Nikola. That's another topic. But the point is that what do you do? And I agree. Someone said CATL is going to be successful either way. I agree. CATL, no problem. They're going to win. They're going to adapt. But what do you do if you're as far in on the batteries for EVs? If you're so far in that you have an entirely different process to assemble it, and the reason you did that was at the time that gave you the highest energy density. and it made sense. But now all of a sudden, Tesla has figured out how to get the energy density, let's say within, I don't know, 5% or 10%, but they can turn out the batteries at 20 times the speed. What do? You have to go back. I don't know what you do. Because it's not like you're Panasonic. Panasonic's already building cells. I can see Panasonic going, oh, Panasonic will, I'm sure will figure this out. And I'll bet within a few years, they're going to have this capacity. But how does somebody that's gone down the prismatic cell pouch design, how do they do this? Man. All right. Let's see. I think that was it for that one. Let's see. Okay. This is the one in about, I'll stop it when we get close here, but this is the most animated I've ever seen Sandy get, and it's kind of entertaining. So it takes like a minute and a half to get to the segment, but this is my favorite. This is my favorite one, Sandy. But just about like, have you ever seen somebody like you insult them and they start to come out of their seat because they're getting ready to throw a punch? That's what happens here. It's freaking awesome. But it takes about a minute and a half or so to get there. So, let's see. Somehow let me go back. I got to get back to 103. 103.56.
And Sandy, why don't we start with you on this one? He says of the 5 major things that Elon talked about yesterday: cell design, factory, anode, cathode, vehicle integration. Which ones do you think are low risk? Which ones do you think are high risk?
The anode and cathode's beyond me, so I'm going to give that.
Okay. Did you hear that? He is basically saying, hey, Bob knows more about batteries. I'm going to defer to Bob. My expertise is in manufacturing and in structural stuff, mechanical stuff. Not once, never in this entire presentation does Bob ever do the same kind of deferential attitude, which to me is just like, I think that speaks volumes. And you probably don't notice it the first time through, but I watched, like I said, like 3 or 4 times, and man, he just irritated the crap out of me.
Bob, but for me, the big thing was vehicle integration. And the reason for that was when they talked about having the battery pack as one great big giant solid lump. That was something that was a recommendation I made when I saw the Model 3s over there. But anyway, when I saw the Model 3, why did they do that? I mean, the body resonates at the same hertz level as what the battery pack did. So why don't they just make it in one and call it a day? And last night, when he went through that and he showed the casting in the front and the casting in the back and how he's going to put the battery pack together, that battery pack now is that is a structural member.
Okay, here we go. Now, watch John McElroy. He's going to say something, and watch Sandy Munro just about, he almost comes unglued here. This is interesting.
But that's nothing new, right?
Castings.
I mean, I'm surprised Tesla's, it looks to me like they're the last ones to the party to make the back pack a structural member. I know, for example, the Jaguar I-Pace, the
Hold on. I hope you guys caught that. Oh, he's like relaxed. And then John McElroy says this, and his eyes get wide. He starts to say something, and then he brings his hands off the table as if he's getting ready to stand up and start swinging.
That's nothing new, right?
Castings.
I mean, I'm surprised Tesla's.
Boom.
It looks to me like they're the last ones to the party to make the back pack a structural member. I know, for example, the Jaguar I-Pace, the pack is a structural member, and that's been out a couple of years now. I know with the GM Ultium battery pack, that's going to be a structural member. I almost wonder if Tesla went down a blind alley by making the structural, the pack not structural, because at one point it had dreamed of doing battery swapping, and that becomes really difficult to do if it's a structural part of the chassis.
Okay, I'm going to skip now ahead to basically Sandy's response because the host actually interjects here, and it's not bad. It's just, it's not that interesting. So here's Sandy responding to this.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, Sandy.
Yeah, that's precisely right. We're not looking at just what everybody else has done by making the outside shroud the structural member. He's made the batteries the structural member as well, and that's totally different. That's going to give him a Hertz rating that's going to be out of this world. That's going to be a very, very rigid body. I think that what I saw last night is something that nobody's ever tackled. To have all those batteries stuck inside the casting that he's starting around, or at least the shroud that's going around, and then gluing them all in. That epoxy glue and whatnot will be acting as a separator, but also as a tremendous rigid member. Nobody's got anything like that. I have every battery pack here, all of them.
I have every battery pack here, all of them. Nobody's doing anything like that. So this Bob guy, he chimes in, you'll see here in a second, he chimes in and is basically like, well, way back in the day, there was this one, the prelude to the whatever, EV1, and we did something like this. It's like, okay, so nobody else, no one's done it. It's like he just wants to prove Tesla's not that unique. It's like, oh, okay, so somebody did it 20 years ago, kind of, sort of, but no one else is doing it at all like they're doing it. And Sandy is talking again like it's a step change difference. And as you saw in the initial numbers, it's like an 18% increase in range and a 7% reduction in cost. It's like, whatever.
And at the end of the day, nobody's got anything like what they described. There's no little walls that separate them. This is like a gigantic pack that we're looking at, totally different than anything we've ever seen before from anybody. Nobody has anything quite like what I saw last night as far as the entire structure. But there were two other parts of that question, and I don't want to.
He goes off. I can't remember. He might have gone off on the airplane thing. I can't remember what he talks about, but it wasn't relevant. Okay, so I'm going to end on this one here. And I think this is a good way to end it tonight too. So
these things, I think these little cars are what they don't build. And
I forgot. I wound it. Let's see, 1:30:32.
Seriously.
Well, I can tell you one thing for sure. We have a couple of little vehicles here that we're helping develop, and we may be getting another one actually from a guy named Malcolm Bricklin. Maybe you remember him. but two of those little companies, Malcolm's company and Nobay, the cute little car that we're working on, both of them want to use Tesla products. We want to implement Tesla's drivetrains, Tesla's inverter converters and whatnot, because we know no one else will work with us, nobody's really got enough on the market. And I don't want to try and produce a vehicle that's, sourcing from who knows where. So I want to have something that's going to be built in America and things like that. So with the Nobay and perhaps the advent of the products that are coming out of Bricklin that Malcolm wants to make, I want to use something that's got millions and millions of miles on them, like Tesla's got already. They've already proven that their electric motors and their AC systems and everything else seem to work really, really well. I want to have batteries that look like this, because I'm going to try and get in touch with Tesla actually right after we're done here.
So I think that's an interesting place to end it with Sandy Munro, because he's so blown away by Tesla, and I think he's been gradually arriving at this point, but he's seen an order of magnitude transformation compared to anything else that's out there. And he was blown away. He was blown away on every front by what Tesla said, and he believes them. He believes, unlike all these, it was one thing to be skeptical. People were skeptical because Elon Musk consistently had challenges delivering, and there were quality issues and all that other stuff. And what I think is so different is Sandy Munro he spent his life being a professional judge of manufacturers. And his judgment of Tesla is that they can do what they're saying they can do, and that they probably can do even better than they say they can do. And I think coming from Sandy, I don't give a shit what any Wall Street analyst says. This is the opinion I care about, because this is a guy that spent a lifetime as a bullshit detector, and he's saying I'm gonna basically stake my reputation on Tesla. That's what he's saying here. At the end of this, he's saying I'm getting ready to stake my professional reputation on Tesla's ability to deliver if they'll work with me. And I think that's enough for me. That's plenty. So, all right. I think I don't think I have anything else. I think that's it for tonight. I'm sure next week's I've got several things I want to run down, and I think I'm gonna do the accessory video either this weekend or early next week. So, because I really want to start like getting some traction around accessories and features and engaging the community around that in a more, kind of a more structured way, and hopefully kind of start driving both aftermarket people and Tesla to start thinking about all the things that we're most interested in as a community. So, okay. All right. I think that's it. We'll catch you next week. Bye.